Sturdivant, Delta Rho Lambda, fall 16 is when I was initiated into the fraternity. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, established December 4th, 1906. Alpha Phi Alpha is the first African-American male collegiate fraternity established in America. We're the oldest and the coldest, which is why the Alpha Phi Alpha comes from Alpha is first, So we were founded in December 4th, 1906 in Ithaca, New York at Cornell University by our 7 founders. Initially, it was somewhat of a study group because they faced much racism and things like that at the college. They wanted to come together as a unit and just be there as a support system. Mm-hmm. But then out of that, we grew into an actual national fraternity. So for me, I really enjoyed mentorship. Mm-hmm. But also knew that as an individual going into a school as a man might look kind of creepy. So I was like, who's actually out here doing the work that I would like to do? So I looked at some of their programs, like My Brother's Keeper is one of our national programs, which focuses on mentorship in the minority community, so to speak. And essentially they go out and mentor kids. I feel like I wanted to be a part of that as well, without being a solo, individual, creepy looking adult man. So I wanted to be a part of that and join in. So that's definitely why I picked this organization for myself, and also the history of who's been in the organization as well, such as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Supreme Court Justice, Thurgood Marshall, Olympic champions, Jesse Owens. The list goes on and on, obviously, but yeah, so those are some of the people who I already looked up to and idolized. I feel like, why not follow in their footsteps?
That's right.
In a great organization. Our motto is manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind. So one of the things that we really, really harp on is education. So we definitely try to make sure that we graduate. That's one of the big things. Like once you join the fraternity, we try to make sure you matriculate through college. You actually get your degree and things like that. We also have another national program that's a really big deal called "A Voteless People is a Hopeless People." So essentially we go out in the community, get people rallied, try and make sure they have all the information about their candidates in their local area, make sure we get people registered to vote, things like that too. So I would definitely say yes, because I had an absentee father growing up, so I didn't have a lot of consistent black male figures in my life. So definitely joining the fraternity helped me get the mentorship and guidance I needed from other black male figures I didn't necessarily get growing up, that I always longed for and wanted. So it's definitely been a tremendous help in that aspect. And even that from the beyond the mentorship role, to always say their friendships, bonding, things like that, because it's a certain thing that you go through that you just connect with people on a different level you wouldn't understand and otherwise going through this process or that process. And also too, just the connections you make with the people who may or may not be a part of the fraternity, so to speak. So like you meet lawyers, doctors, judges, things like that. You just go to for like regular advice that might cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars to get. Otherwise, like at a meeting, like, excuse me, I have this issue with X, Y, and Z. Could you give me? Oh yeah, hold on. Give about 5 minutes. They'll just literally give you information you might need, like that. And actually, another friend of mine who lived in DC about 8 years ago, he actually met former President Barack Obama's doctor, and he actually got like an examination for his eyes and all these things because being in a fraternity, because his doctor was also an Alpha, so he got to get a checkup from the president's doctor, from the former president's doctor, being an Alpha. Yes, I would say, because you can't necessarily pick who you go through the process with. Sometimes you might not necessarily like that person's company, but it's just who you're with. So you have to go through that process, figure out how to deal with them, talk to them. I definitely think that helps in real life, because sometimes you can't pick who you work with, can't pick a lot of things in life. So it definitely helps you to overcome different things like that. And then even that, beyond that, I would say also just the ability to get through the process. Some people can't necessarily finish it. It is a difficult thing to do sometimes, having to learn, and read, and memorize. So definitely helps you to ground yourself and just figure out how to think through tough times sometimes. That definitely helps too. That's a difficult question. I don't think everything is for everyone or anyone should do anything. But I do think some of the principles and things you learn are useful in life. And I would say if you look into it, research it, talk to people that have done it, you think it is for you, I would definitely say go for it. Mm-hmm. But I don't think if you don't like certain things, or if you go through it and try and talk to someone, they tell you what they went through, it's not for you. Don't try and force yourself to do it if it's not something you aren't necessarily interested in. Right. But it's definitely worth it. I think it's worth it after I've gone through it and came through to the other side. I think it's worth it, but I can't say that for everyone. So I can't recommend everyone do everything. But I would do say talk to people that have done it. Figure out what they stand for, and if that aligns and what they do aligns with you as a person. And if it does, definitely go for it.
Right, that you can talk about.
The city of San Antonio, there's like one of the nation's largest Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. marches. And our fraternity house is at the end of the march. And just march, people would come by the fraternity house and we would be grilling, making drinks, different things like that. And they would fellowship with us and we would talk about the fraternity, different things of that nature, and just what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. meant to us. And for me, it was great to see such an organized amount of Black people just doing these things for each other and for the community. So that was a really great point of contention for our fraternity. I would just say look into the different organizations, see which one aligns with you, which one moves you, and which one has a calling for you. And see people that have done it, reach out to them, talk to them, see what it means to them, why they did it, and then see if that aligns with the reason that you might want to join and pick the one that fits for you. Even though I hope it's Alpha Phi Alpha. I hope that's the one that fits you. Hope that's the one that you see. Oldest and the coldest, the first. So hopefully that aligns. Like I think we got it right the first time. So yeah. I would probably just try and do more things with my kids. I feel like that's a difficult one because I always feel like I'm doing stuff wrong. But I feel like if I knew I wouldn't, I would just be able to do more things, be more free and open. I'm always scared of not being there for my kids. That's always a nervous point of contention for me in my life. I'm like, am I doing it right? Am I being a good dad? If I knew I wouldn't fail at it, I would just do whatever with my kids. Like, let's go do this. Let's talk about this. Right. So I would just know I was doing everything right. Like, this is going great. So yeah, so I definitely think that would be a thing for me, just doing whatever with my kids. I knew I wouldn't fail. One of care, community concern, advocacy, and just being a good person overall. Definitely just being around my kids, just seeing them flourish, learn new things, read, be okay, be healthy. That's definitely my proudest thing right now, is just making sure they're well taken care of. It was one of my uncles, and he said, don't let failure get to your heart, and don't let success get to your head. Okay. Essentially, he was just saying, don't let either one get too close or ruin how you feel about yourself. So it was definitely some great advice. Definitely think faith has helped me through a lot of tough times, whether it be being in the military and being 2,000-3,000 miles away from home with just me and myself there. It was definitely had to lean on faith quite a few times in the military, being alone by myself, and like even being in basic training for my first time, being away from home for the holidays for the first time. It was definitely a trying time. Then calling home, mom didn't answer the phone on Christmas Day. Cut deep. Almost tearing up thinking about it now. But yeah, faith has definitely been a pivotal part in just getting through definitely the tough times, being alone, things like that. And then being a father, being a husband, definitely faith has definitely helped get me through some, definitely.